What's going on, guys? And um, welcome to the channel. Yeah, it's a relatively new channel, and I've been a fan of 2K for a while, and I do watch a lot of the videos. And one of the things that I've noticed is, well, while sometimes they'll make builds of current players or maybe players like Jordan or Kobe, a lot of guys that do builds, they don't really focus on some of the other legends of the game. And me being a guy that, I've watched basketball now for 30 plus years. So there's a lot of talented players out there that I've watched and that I grew up watching. Um, and, they're just guys that I feel like there's a place for them in this game. If you want to make those sort of builds, and you can have a lot of fun with those kind of builds. Now, the first one that I wanted to do is Dennis Rodman, because honestly, Dennis Rodman, while he was never my favorite player, because I always preferred guys like Olajuwon or Barkley, Dennis Rodman, he was that guy that you always wanted on your team simply because he's that guy that would hustle and give 110% every night. Um, and he was just, he's so underappreciated because people look at him as a guy that just rebounded the ball, and they don't realize that this guy was legitimately one of the few people that could actually guard 1 through 5. I mean, he could guard Michael Jordan one night, and then the next night he could guard Shaquille O'Neal. Um, his defensive abilities were unmatched. I know Pippen was a really good defensive player. I know Peyton was really good. I know Olajuwon was really good. But those guys all had their limits. And Rodman, I feel like he had no limits. And if he wasn't as wild as he was and did some of the crazy things that he did throughout his career, I believe a lot more people would like Dennis Rodman. But I believe because of his attitude and some of the things that he's done, he gets overlooked a lot. But yeah, this is a build, guys. That if you're one of those guys that you don't want to build, the traditional playmaking shot creator or paint beast or something like that. And you want a guy that's really that defensive anchor for your team. This is the perfect build for you. Now, the great thing about Dennis Rodman also is you have options because early on in his career, Dennis Rodman played a lot of small forward when he played for the Pistons. Um, and then once he got over to the Spurs moved him to the power forward position. So you could really go either way. And I'm going for the power forward position simply because I want I want the Dennis Rodman that could rebound like no one else. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this build, guys. I mean, because this build it's really it's a pretty simple build. It's not anything difficult. Of course, with Dennis Rodman, we're going to go with this. We're going straight up all defense because that's what the guy was. Um, and I mean, Dennis Rodman has said that he could score. Um, but the thing is, we never saw that really in the NBA. I think his career high was like 34 points, I believe. So he was more well known for his for his defense and his rebounding than he was for his offensive ability. Now for Dennis Rodman, he was very small for the power forward position, especially at the time. Not only was he short, I mean, like a Barkley or a Johnson, but he didn't have the weight that those two guys had. I think Rodman weighed like 210. And while he was listed at 6'8", he was really 6'7". But he was very strong. I mean, if you watched him in the series against the Lakers, he held his own with that Bulls team. When they put Rodman on Shaq, I mean, he he held his own. He got under Shaq's skin, and that's what Rodman did. He was able to just drive you nuts if you allowed him to. So because he was small, a lot of people thought he was weak or that he didn't have a lot of strength, but he was actually very strong. Any guy that can, hold his own on the block against Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant player that I've ever seen, he's a pretty strong dude. And I know that there's a lot of people that's going to say, well, Wilt was stronger or something like that. And the thing is, I never got to see Wilt play in what little bit I did see. So I just say that Shaq is the most dominant player that I've ever seen. I have heard about some of the amazing things Wilt Chamberlain did. I never actually saw it in person, and what little bit of footage that is out there, it's not really something that I can say without a doubt, that he was stronger than Shaq or anything like that. So with that, I mean, I'm going to go with this one, the balance, because Dennis Rodman could do it all. He was a very quick player. He had a good vertical. Um, he was strong. He wasn't the strongest guy on the court, but he was strong enough to hold his own against some of the bigger guys. So we're going to go with that. And now with this, guys, I know Dennis Rodman wasn't known as a scorer. Um, and here's the thing: if you want to go straight defense, I mean, you could. You could put everything on defense, and you're still going to have plenty of things left over. Which in all honesty, this is what I'm going to do because this to me is Dennis Rodman. 100%. Um, this is the Dennis Rodman that I watched night in and night out. He was very very defensive minded. Now he was able to get some buckets around the basket. He was decent at putbacks and things like that. So we're just going to go with this, and that's going to leave us 71 attribute upgrades. Now, one thing I would recommend doing if you're going to play this actually through my player, or if you're going to play at the rec um, or the pro am, I would recommend putting your free throw up. Simply because it's not going to be a great free throw regardless. It's 77, but it's going to get better on that. Now, the next thing that I do is I just put my pass accuracy up, and that's simply because um, you're going to get a lot of rebounds with this guy, and you're going to want to be able to make a good out pass to the guards or the forwards that's going to be pushing the tempo and pushing the ball up the floor. So the rest of it, we're just going to put on ball handling. You know, because while Rodman didn't really show his handles all that much, um, you know, it's only going to be a 53, so it's nothing that's really great or going to be legendary anyway. This right here is what's going to make this guy stand out from other players. Is his defensive ability and the fact that this build, and I will tell you, even though I've not been able to actually play this, because the 2K servers are down for 2K22. I haven't checked 21. I haven't played it to see if it's down on 21, but I know on 22 it's completely down. So I haven't actually had a chance to take this in and actually try it. But I did test the build, and with that, um, it's it's legitimate, guys. It can hold its own. So here we go. I mean, this is pretty much Dennis Rodman here, guys. You can go build or you can go slide on this. I'm gonna go build. That's simply because Rodman was pretty muscular, and you're gonna pull this down to 67 now. The one main thing with that, I mean, if you look, that perimeter defense and that lateral quickness and that steal, those all jump up really, really high. You get a huge boost in those. But you do lose some of the block, and you lose your offensive and defensive rebounding. Which for Dennis Rodman, I mean that that isn't that isn't necessarily who Dennis Rodman was, but we're going to get some of that back. Now you're going to pull this down to his playing weight was 210, so we're going to have it at that. Now let's if we look over here at your physicals, you've got a 82 speed and 80 acceleration. So for a power forward, you're going to be very fast. You've got that 87 vertical, so you're going to be able to jump very, very well, and that's going to be able to get you a lot of those rebounds. And your strength is still at 72. Now, the good thing about this is once you get this player maxed out, you're going to get a +8 to all of those physicals. So you're really looking at you're going to have a 90 speed, an 88 acceleration. You're going to have an 80 strength, which is really good for someone that's going to be this fast. And your vertical is going to be a 96. So you're going to be able to jump out of the building. And of course, that's only if you max your player out, and you also do the 4 extra that you can get for winning the championship or going to the Gatorade facility. I think with winning the championship, it's called I believe I'm not sure. I think it's Gym Rat, but it's you basically you get that badge, and that boosted up 4, and then maxing it to 99 boosted another 4. So, but yeah, I mean this is pretty much Rodman, guys, right here. Now you're going to be able to you're going to be able to get some of that rebounding and stuff back. Um, and I mean, if you just look at this build, the one thing that I would say that's probably not 100% accurate is the interior defense, because it's only 69 now. But from what I've played with this, that is more than enough. Because I did test it and I did play it, because I didn't actually get to play it in my career, but I was able to do the test. And with that, I do know that it holds its own. I mean, I played against the Phoenix Suns, and he had my player had no issues, with Ayton or Crowder. And even at times, through a switch, I got put on Paul or Booker, and I was able to stay with those guys. So this is a really, really good defensive build, guys. I mean, this is going to be able to play all of those positions, especially now with the NBA being a lot smaller or smaller. A lot of teams play small ball now. You're going to be able to play all 5 positions really easily, unless it's a really, really fast point guard or 2 guard. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you look at that, guys, I mean, 83 block, 84 offensive rebound, 87 defensive rebound. Those can all get a boost up by 4. So you could be looking at a 91, an 88, and an 87. So those are all good. Steal will be at 99 for a power forward. That's really good. Lateral quickness will jump up to a 97. Perimeter defense will be a 97 as well. So, defensively, this guy's going to be very, very solid. You're not going to have any issues on the defensive end. It's not going to be a shooting build, so if you like shooters, this is probably not going to be the build for you. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, Dennis Rodman. Except, Dennis Rodman, he did not have. I wouldn't say that his finishing would be that good. If there was just a solid red and nothing else pie chart, that would be what we would have to use for Dennis Rodman. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to score with this, guys. Just in a test, I think it was 6-minute quarters. I was able to get I think it was 30 points, 32 points, something like that, and 16 boards. So, you know, that's good, guys. And I mean, look, you've got a lot of takeovers that that you can choose here. If you want to be a bit more offensive, um, or a bit more capable on the offensive end, you could definitely go with Slasher. Um, I went with Glass Cleaner because let's face it, that's what Dennis Rodman was. He was a rebounding machine, and I mean, but it's your build at the end of the day, guys. If you want to keep it, true to Dennis Rodman, I would say go with Glass Cleaner. Now the problem is, of course, the servers are down, and look at there, the second guy mentioned, Dennis Rodman. Um, so yeah, I mean that's to me that's perfect. That's the perfect. You know, it's just it fits because this is really Dennis Rodman. So let's go ahead and let's get this bumped up and let's look at some of the badges that that you could do here. Um, so for here, there's a couple. Um, and there are some new ones. For 22 from 21. So just looking at what we have here, this one is definitely one that I would use. Now you're only going to be able to get it up to gold on this, but it's fast twitch, which it basically speeds up your dunk or layup. Because the thing is with Dennis Rodman, he when he did do putbacks and when he did get offensive rebounds and went back up with it, he was very quick with it. So I think that's really good. Um, and we'll do fearless finisher, which is basically contact finisher from 21. Um, and with this putback boss, yeah, that's Dennis Rodman. I mean, you got to put putback boss on there. Um, I'm going to put unstrippable just simply because when you go back up with it, you don't want to get stripped. And then just looking at some of the other ones here, guys. I mean, if we're wanting to make it, if we're wanting to make it more Dennis Rodman like, I would say go with this one. Um, and that should leave us one more. So let's see. Yeah, we're going with Dennis Rodman. So none of these are really Dennis Rodman ish, I would say. Um, but we'll go back down Punisher because, like I said, he was stronger than he looked. So yeah, I think that's perfect for finishing. Um, so we'll go ahead and confirm that. For shooting, I mean, he was never really a shooter. So for this, what I would do essentially is I would just do slippery off ball. That way you can kind of move around, and that's going to help you get those offensive rebounds and things. For playmaking, again, none of this really. I mean, you could somewhat say quick first step because he was pretty quick for a 6'7" guy. But what I would go for is bullet passer. Um, because when you get those defensive and offensive rebounds, if you want to kick it back out or push it out to a guard or forward to get it up on the other end of the floor, you want to be able to make that pass as quickly as possible. So yeah, definitely that. Now here we go, defensive. So defense, mm, I would say Clance on Silver. Hustler. I mean, yeah, Dennis Rodman was a hustler. He really wasn't much of an intimidator, but it's an important one, I think, in this. We'll put that on. Yeah, we'll leave that there. We'll box. That's going to go all the way up. Pogo stick on Silver. Um, Post lockdown Hall of Fame because he could, like I said, he held Shaq in check, guys. Rebound chaser for sure. Worm definitely. I actually think that was made for Rodman, and then we'll put the other one on tireless defender. Um, or if you wanted, you could go down to chase down artists, but I'm just staying true to Dennis Rodman form, guys, because he was a guy that had unlimited energy. It seemed like when he was on the floor. So I mean, yeah, there you have it, guys. I mean, this is where the build is with Dennis Rodman. You want that guy that's going to hustle. He's going to box out. He's going to, basically lock down that, that post. Even though there's not going to be a lot of post play in the NBA today, but it's still there are going to be some guys, especially if you play my career, when you were playing other NBA teams, that's going to be a good thing to have. And that rebound chaser and worm, both of those, those are Dennis Rodman. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it, guys. I mean, and with this, like I say, with this series, I'm basically going to be focusing on those guys that a lot of people don't build. Simply because maybe they like shooters and things like that, and guys that can hit trays and things of that nature. But I want to focus on all of the legends. So, Dennis Rodman is just where I started, not because he was my favorite, but simply because, I really respect Rodman for his game. He's always been underappreciated, I feel, especially with his days in Detroit. I know he gets a lot of recognition for, that second three-peat with the Bulls. But, still, dude was unreal. I mean, watching that guy play, I've not seen another defensive player like that. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is a very good defensive player, but I wonder how well Kawhi would do against someone that's a lot bigger than he is. So I don't know if Kawhi could shut down a Shaquille O'Neal, basically. But yeah, I mean, with that, guys, I mean, that's the build. So I don't know who I'm going to do next, but it's going to be another legend. I'm thinking guys like Kevin McHale, may do some like a Penny Hardaway build, Grant Hill build. I think would be really cool. It's just, and the reason why I didn't do this with 21 is because the pie charts, it really limited your ability to do that. And with these new pie charts, you have a little bit more freedom to really expand on those builds a little bit. So I think you'll be able to get more creative, and because shooting does appear, from what I've played so far, it does appear to be a little bit better than it was on 21. So, but I'm not a guy that enjoys shooting, guys. This is the kind of builds that I like to play with. I like to play down. I like to play with lockdowns and guys that are going to get 15, 20 boards a night. Um, because I don't really play a lot online play on the courts. I play mostly my player, you know, in my career, um, and play through that way. But yeah, I mean, this is the Dennis Rodman build, guys. I mean, if you like playing defense, if you want to be that guy that can just lock down anyone, can get a ton of rebounds, this is the build for you. But with that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would greatly appreciate you leaving a like on the video. If you haven't done so already, guys, subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, so you probably haven't subscribed yet. So go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot of these legend builds, and let me know in the comments below, guys, some of those legends you would like to see me, go through and build. Because listen, while the NBA today is great, anyone like me, we're called old heads, I guess. We really appreciate those legends from the past, those guys that had amazing footwork on the block, those guys that were physical and very rough, and not to take anything away from guys like LeBron and Kevin Durant, because they're both amazing players. Um, and there's a lot of amazing players in the NBA today. It's just I do sometimes miss those guys that you know that that isn't afraid to get to get a little bit physical, and those guys that take it to the block, and they've got that amazing footwork and those post moves, and guys like Kevin McHale and Akeem Olajuwon, their post moves and things like that are just unmatched by anyone. Not only in today's NBA, but just in general. You know, when I think of great post players, I think of Hakeem. You know, I think of McHale. After that, the next guy that comes to mind is probably going to be Michael Jordan, because he did have great post play Michael and Kobe are right there. I mean, their post play and their fadeaway were both really good. So yeah, I mean, but just let me know, guys. I mean, some of the legends you would like to see me build. This is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy making players and building players, legendary players, more so than anything else with this game. And it's fun to take them into my career and see kind of how they would do in the modern NBA. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, while a lot of people feel like the older players, um, you know, aren't as skilled or aren't as good as the new guys or the new players, trust me, guys. Anyone that's watched, the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now going into 2020s, I mean, there's certain players that's going to be able to transcend all of that. Magic, Bird, Jordan, you know, guys like that. LeBron, Durant. Those are guys that they're going to be good no matter what era they play in. Would they be the same player? Maybe not, but they would still. I think because of their abilities and things, they would still be a very good player regardless of what time they play in. But yeah, just guys, let me know in the comments below. Some of the players that you would like to see me make, some legends. Like I said, I mean, I've got, I'm thinking Kevin McHale's might be my next one. And as you can see, I mean, I really love power forwards and centers because mainly that's what I played when I played basketball or when I play basketball. So I like the post play. I like the footwork and things like that. And while Dennis Rodman doesn't really do that, he had everything defensively that a man could want. So yeah, just let me know, guys, in the comments below. I'm always happy to make builds and come up with something. And it's just to me, like I said, that's the most fun part. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, wherever you are. Have a good one.